What
right,
was the
Steve.
date? What was the
floor
date
is
of the
yours.
last December meeting? The
December
minutes we need to
15th.
read?
We've got
Yes.
December 15th and January 5th are the ones. that
December
you-
15th, okay. Um,
Go ahead, Steve. We're live and recording.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
We did not approve the minutes from the 12/15/20 meeting. I would like to move to approve those minutes.
Second,
Naylor,
yes.
King,
Yes,
Childs.
Yes.
Okay,
okay. I would ask comments on the minutes from the last meeting, on the 4th, I think it was.
5th,
I would entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Childs,
Yes.
King,
I'll second that, and yes,
okay,
And Naylor says yes.
yes, I'm sorry, Wendy.
okay. Let's go. First order of business, 14 Water Street. It has an HSR. Prospectus, the 1901 in a historical district, has many historical characteristics, several additions. They judged it to be historically significant for those reasons and took issue with the plans because it did not follow the codified ordinance, replacement of features, compatibility, and so forth. And the proposed changes would have an adverse effect on the historical design of the house and those in the area. I move to receive those, the report from Prospectus.
Second,
Okay, King,
Yes.
Naylor,
yes.
Childs,
Yes.
okay,
A comment off the top. Prospectus said they didn't like the white. It should be 3 or more colors. That doesn't seem to me to be a painted lady. What's your comment on that, Wendy?
Yeah, usually we don't get into paint colors at all. So,
Their comment. I
right,
didn't.
right. They commented on it. That's probably the case. There was probably contrasting colors on the building to bring out the trim, but I don't know that much more than that.
Okay, very good. Doesn't seem old enough to be
Right.
multicolored house.
No, not like a painted lady. It would just be contrasting. Yeah.
Right, right.
What did they say the date of the house was?
1901.
1901, yeah. Yeah, so that is a little just past that Victorian kind of.
Right.
Well, there were traditional colors that were other than like Victorian type houses, like bungalows, would traditionally not be all white. So, it
So
must
this
be
is
what
not
they're
Victorian.
thinking of.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
There's the orange house on,
Are they coming down? It's not, I mean, I don't think it's high style. But what exact style would you call this, Wendy?
Can you roll that up? I think it's very similar to Miss Rogers' house, which is next door.
Mhm.
This is, I
Yeah.
would call this transitional.
Transitional.
Save myself. Yeah. I would call it transitional because I see kind of a 4 square thing coming on, but then
Right.
you have irregular roof line.
Bays
I would say it was transitional.
between
Between a
say late
Victorian
Queen
era-
Anne to Foursquare.
yeah,
Okay. I like this house a great deal.
It's a great house. Yeah.
And we have tried to be very sensitive to what's there. We are using one fireplace of that side fireplace, but we're not messing with that. We're actually not changing any windows in the front of the house and even close to the front of the house. So we're being, I think, very careful on the front of this house not to change anything. And so they're concerned. So this is a Paskovich addition on the rear of the house. And our primary addition is a bedroom over that. Interestingly, that addition was presented as a 2-story addition at that time. And I guess it passed and they only built a 1-story addition. So it does add a little to the massing. It's at the rear of the house. We've tried to keep it innocuous, consistent with the rest of the house. So it's that white area on this left side, left north elevation. That would be that addition. We're just working with the hip roofs. There is an existing rear chimney, which is just a flue incinerator chimney. And we are proposing to take that down just because we're,
This right here.
yeah, but it's back. Like you wouldn't actually notice it much from this view. And we're just raising up these kitchen windows, but they should be shown with a horizontal bar. So that disappeared off the drawings or something happened, but they will have a horizontal bar to match the other windows. And then let's see, looking at this front view, so you can see, so we're adding some height to that rear addition. You know, the lower half of that's already there. You're already seeing something along the side. Removing one window of the addition.
The bay with the windows, that aren't divided but should have been?
The
That's
bay is there.
That's
The
there.
bay is there and the windows are moving up 8
get under-
inches to be above the countertop height.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty subtle change in that bay. And then if we want to go to the rear elevation, so this looks like a fairly large addition if you look at the rear west elevation, but it's actually about a 7-foot deep. It's really a service addition. There's an existing small entry back there that's down a half level, and it creates a real like maze and very tight like up down steps going in. So we're bringing that up to 1 level and then adding, you know, mudroom area on the first floor. So it's not a very deep addition. The hip roof resolves back into the other hip. It's got, you know, 2 windows down, 2 windows up. We're trying to make those consistent with the house. And then the second floor, there's that existing bay below. We decided not to bring the bay up, just to bring a straight wall up and let the bay still be a 1-story element. And I think those 2 windows above the bay may be spaced just a hair wide. Bill's gonna say, bring them together just a teeny bit. and I would agree with that. So we'll tweak that a teeny bit. So from the side elevation, the south elevation, you can see that's not a very wide addition. There's 1 moved window that's indicated should be shown as white, not blue, near the rear of the existing house on the first floor. And all the new windows will be aluminum clad wood with nice historic detail.
Is
So
there
we'll
some-
look at,
Are
you
you,
know.
are you taking out a window that's sort of stuffed in the corner and,
and moving it further right.
okay.
Right.
Those, the basement windows, glass, I mean, there's a lot of them, and I wouldn't be too excited about glass block or something. Are they real windows?
They're real windows.
Okay.
They're
They're
By and
already-
large.
They're already
by and
there.
large existing. I don't think
All of
we're
them. huh?
adding a basement window, so.
Can I see the north elevation again real quick? Oh, George, are you still, keep presenting. If you're not done, keep going.
I mean, you know, we could look at the plan, but I mean, that's primarily the impact on the elevation. yeah, so you're seeing the front east elevation and north elevation there, but you can see that we're really just that teeny tweak with the bay, the windows in that bay. We're really not doing anything till we get right at the back of the house.
So that you're adding the second, on the elevation you're looking at now,
North.
yes, it's the front east elevation.
Yep.
The reason you've sort of post-shade all the way down as new is because you're replacing that window? Or you're
Because that
removing the window?
siding would be, yeah, that
window?
siding would be new, but really, yeah, that could be shaded blue, but we are removing a window that's ending up being a pantry. We're leaving the side facing window. We thought it was more significant. And then we're just adding the window up above. But yeah, the first floor, the first story of that is existing construction.
Okay,
Okay. So that north elevation is going to be the view from West Washington Street over the backyard of that corner house,
Correct.
which I think looks fine.
yes. I'm not certain at this point that I agree with the HSR or their interpretation that it's,
They're saying we are doing things to minimize the impact, which I think is true. They're saying that form has an impact, and
well, certainly.
it does to some degree. I mean, I agree with that, but I don't think it's inconsistent with the house, and
No.
the house is irregular shaped.
Yeah.
To begin with.
They seem to make a point on materials, but your materials seem fine. I don't understand what their concern was.
They will all match. This is going to be a very high quality addition. All the detailing will match.
And then can you go back to the rear west elevation again, the sheet below? There you go. Yeah. It's not like you popped a box on the corner on the rear elevation. I think it's nice. It's got detail. It's following the form of the rest of the house. I think it works.
Thanks.
I agree.
Where, I don't understand where those shutters come from on the,
Oh, shutters, Phil.
I mean, it's on the,
Where are the shutters?
On the front,
yeah,
we might have shown them because they're there.
well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah,
Oh,
those are, I mean, we can,
Are those remnants from the?
they are
60s?
remnants. They're not a design element. I think,
I know.
but that's what I noticed, that you've got the HSR showed the old and the new views, and the shutters popped in there. So that will be addition by subtraction.
I just had a couple comments.
Yes.
I think, oh, sorry, go ahead. I think this is an improvement on the original composition, and I agree. I agree with you guys. I don't agree with the HSR report. I think from a massing standpoint, I think this is a nice job how they step the composition down here, keeping the same form. I also think that if we could go to the other, or what, sorry, is there any way to put a window right here by any chance? Just because it's the front elevation and we have like a large field here. I was just curious.
It's in a walk-in pantry. We actually left the window, side-facing window, which I think is important. And having brought that much light in there, we're obviously trying to get some storage into that. So I was hoping that the window on the second floor kind of served to at least animate that a little bit.
Okay, can we go to the back elevation, please? The other elevation.
But
So-
I thought the side-facing window might even be more important. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, so I think this works really nicely with the bay, and I think this porch is nice. I was just wondering, is it possible just to add maybe a couple more columns to this beam, just because this beam looks like it's going a long span for just 2 columns, or even if you just added 1?
Yeah, let's look at that. It is a long span. I agree. I think maybe 2, don't you?
Yeah, I would put
Yes.
2 in there and it would
Yeah.
look perfect. Could we go to the plan then? I just wanted to see.
Yep.
Thanks.
It's it's an extensive renovation on 3, it'll be 4 floors.
Which one you want, Bill?
First
Floor
floor.
plan.
There we go. Yep.
So, sorry, where's the pantry? I apologize. I'm looking for it.
Oh, yeah, pan up just a hair there. Thank
Right
you,
here.
Harry.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, that'd be my only 2 comments. I understand your dilemma, like if you put 2 windows in a pantry. I think it looks great. You did a really nice job on it. I think I just add the 2 columns. If there's any way to add a window on the front, other than that, I'd move to approve.
Thanks.
I would second that motion.
I have just one more question for George. On the rear elevation at that bay window, are those tri-part windows? Are you putting a transom in there?
The bay is
If you-
existing. They have transoms.
Oh, they do have
Actually go up
transoms.
quite
Okay.
high, yeah. So
Okay,
we're
thank you.
working over those existing. I mean, it's a very
We
bright
could
room. and-
look at that. I don't know if you're going to change out a window to make it more consistent with the rest of the windows, but okay, that's existing. All right, I don't know if there was a second on the motion.
Yeah,
Yes,
we have a second.
Second, okay, thank you.
So motion by Childs, seconded by King. Childs,
Yes.
King,
yes.
Naylor.
Yes.
How are we handling the notes here?
Thank you. I was just gonna ask, is the only thing you wanted to add that the columns? a
And
possible-
consideration for a window facing the front in the pantry.
So the 2 columns are on the rear elevation,
Rear
correct?
porch.
Correct.
Rear porch.
Rear porch? Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
And do you have
And a possible window in the
pantry?
Pantry, first floor.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Moving along.
Uh, 23 Water Street. We have an HSR on file, the highly eventful, long strung out renovation of the Kinstall House. And
Chris, do you have anybody?
Yep, Stuart's on the line. Yep.
Okay.
If there are any members of the public in attendance, I see 2 phone numbers on. I don't know if those are folks with the project or not. If anyone would care to speak about this project, raise your hand in Zoom and I will identify you, but Stuart's online. Stuart, you're muted. You're still muted. We're getting there. If you press your space bar, it will unmute you while you speak. Nope.
Still muted.
We can see you trying, but we can't hear you. At the bottom of your Zoom screen on the left-hand side, there should be a mute button and it should not have a red line through it.
Anybody read lips?
Mhm.
You can use the chat to type to us if you're trying to give us a message.
It is Stuart Lip.
Yep.
Stuart,
Thank God he's still smiling.
1 blink for yes, 2 blinks for no, right?
Stuart, if something's going on with your computer, I can give you a telephone number to call in. And then you can use your phone to speak to us. I will type that number in the chat. ask you, if you do that, it's going to ask you for an ID for the meeting, and I'm typing that in as well. And a password as well. Shake your head yes if you can see the chat. Stuart, what happens if you just press your space bar and hold it down? No.
He might not have a working audio available to him somehow.
Yeah, perhaps not.
Or his computer could be set up.
Stuart, how about if I give you a call offline? Can we move to the next project while I try to get Stuart
Yes,
online?
yes.
So I
Yes.
will give him a call offline. We'll move to the next project and come back.
Okay,
Good idea. 36 Philomethian.
so this is a resubmittal from your last meeting?
Yes.
Hi, Dave.
Good morning. How is
Good
everybody?
Morning, David.
Good, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me again. So appreciate the feedback at the last meeting. Previously, we had an existing rear massing, the proposed preliminary drawing, which you can kind of see on the rear elevation, lightly gray line in, showed a lower massing with potential shed dormers. The feedback from AVR was to restudy it, and Wendy Naylor was gracious enough to show me some examples and be very helpful as well. So we did. We restudied it, and what we're proposing here is an asymmetrical revised approach here that now we have a reverse gable off the rear of the home with a window centered on it, and a flat wall, much like the left side elevation gable, which is to the very far right of the screen. So we redesigned it, and we're proposing kind of a lower pitch roof over the part that's kind of above the remainder of the existing home.
I'm not sure what everyone else thinks. I don't think I'm against the idea of adding this kind of secondary hip form in there to make it a recessive form. My only thought was, I see you've pushed it back a foot off the rear. If you could push it about 8 inches and draw this whole side elevation, but if you could push it about 8 inches back on the side, or anything to make the break 6-8 inches, I think you can shorten the bathroom that much without losing a tremendous amount of. I think everything you've got in the bathroom would still work, and your closet might be 8 inches shorter, but I do think that would allow that side-facing gable that we're not really seeing the whole gable, but allow it to maintain its form, and then there'd just be some teeny little roof detail. Maybe it happens right where the top of your porch roof comes in. You could just wrap that around as a little detail, might break up that side elevation. But that, and I'm going along with the idea that you're filling in this corner with that kind of hip form to try and keep it as secondary, as innocuous as possible. And I'm curious what the rest of the board thinks about that.
I got a question. Is this, Dave, was this always an L-shaped form like this? Or did this originally break down like this to here?
It's always been an L-shaped form. The existing Bill?
Right. mhm,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah. So right now the roof's bearing at, the plate height on that rear is a little bit higher than the first floor plate height. It's about an 11-foot roof bearing. If you look at the rear elevation, you could just see the dash line. So if you look at the rear elevation, the right side, you could just see the dash line of where that roof bearing used to be. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see that.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you. So I agree with George about trying to define this, but my only concern is what do you do here then? Because then this is stepped in. Do you put a little tiny roof over this if this whole form goes in? So my comment would be I keep this L-shaped, although I'm always thinking of defining forms. And then this shed, I think the shed's a little too high. I would try to bring it down and maybe put another, like either a solder seam or a standing seam copper roof in there. And my only other thought was, is this really correct? Because don't you need to get this roof seems like it's so low. I know this is preliminary, but thinking about sections and how this goes together, is there still possible to get a header up here? I mean, did you cut a section through here? You know what I'm talking about? Like right here, see how close the window is up into here?
Yeah, agreed. Definitely see your point on that. So no, it's preliminary, but I understand exactly what you're pointing out.
Yeah, and then is it possible, I'd have to go back to the plan, is it possible to line a window up with this door and get, even if it's just a cute little window, like a little square or something, just to break up this field? And then again, I try to keep this roof at a lower pitch if possible, to make this a secondary element and not so overbearing.
Yeah. So, and actually we played around with some of this too, because we did some iterations. One, I'm just curious for your thoughts on one that we did was on that rear elevation, the right side of that roof line was continuing it down to kind of cross that area where you just recommended a window to the far side. If you want, I can screen share a very crude drawing, but so that if we did that step back, like George said, that we'd have something kind of intentional to connect it.
Because I think this is a good step back as you've defined this. I think this is a good step back. I'm just not sure what you do with a step back and what kind of roof or something. I think it's going to make it look a little foreign to the rest of the composition.
Bill, maybe it's that very top bit of the porch roof that actually extends in. Potentially that could continue around, would actually marry around, so it would hip.
No, I understand what you're saying. I don't know. It seems like it'd be a little contrived to me.
Mhm.
I appreciate what you're saying. I mean, to try to cover that up and run that line across. Is it difficult to get a window here, Dave, because you're
No,
planning?
not at all.
Okay.
Happy to do
That's,
that.
that's a vanity right there.
Oh, there is? Okay.
Yeah.
And if I had a question, Wendy, if you change from an historical standpoint and make this copper and make this lower, make it a different roof material from a historical standpoint, does that lose the integrity of the composition from a
This is
history?
at a rear elevation, so I wouldn't be particularly worried about it, but usually you would see in this type of house in Chagrin, a consistent roof material.
Oh, okay. Well, could you get, I don't know what pitch you got here, Dave, but could you do a lower pitch and then ice and water shield and put titanium on the roof and try to still do the asphalt shingles? I just feel like this is kind of a little overbearing or a little too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a secondary element. Should be a little more understated.
If you were to make it lower, I mean, one option could be to not match the eave, make it a flat roof element with a higher eave, but just running straight back into that. I mean, that might work. So you'd break the line, the eave would become higher, but then you wouldn't be trying to marry like a low slope portion of the same eave into a steeper slope portion, which is kind of tricky to do.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable solution, but I try to keep this datum if I was him and try to keep it consistent. My concern is if it gets up too high, is it going to end up looking like really drawing attention to it?
Being too prominent.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tricky corner for sure. Sorry,
I do think the overall approach is successful in, I mean, it's what we were talking about in the last meeting, but creating that rear facing gable that matches the other 3 gables of the house and keeping the
agree.
same dimension.
Yep, I agree.
Mhm.
So let me see if I have this right. So lower the roof pitch on that one element. And Bill, I think we can go as low as 212. I'm not saying we would, but with an asphalt shingle, I think it's warranted to 212 and above. So lower the roof pitch on that, add a window above that rear door, centered on the door, and make sure we have a break line that we break the left side where this shed dormer, for lack of a better word, break that from that gable on the left side elevation.
No, I personally, I keep this the way you have it. I keep all this just like, that's just my opinion.
Oh,
I
keep it
keep
flush.
Yeah, I keep it
Okay,
flush because
pardon me.
this is already an existing condition where they already got an L shape. I don't think, yeah, I think I keep it that way and keep it clean. Again, that's just my take on it.
Yeah, and that's where I'd break with, I'd push it back because I would really like to see that side facing gable.
Okay.
Maybe I'm thinking you can do something to step it back out again that could work. But you said you're working over an existing foundation below
That's right.
that goes straight back, like that first floor section of that rear corner of the house already exists, or is it a new section? Where the
first
door
floor
comes-
already exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only concern is if he does push that back, George, then how do you cleanly get this detail to look right when it's wrapping around there? That's the only thing. I mean, maybe it's
Well,
possible.
it'll let the gutter die. I mean, you're kind of taking that overhang back to where the gutter can die, and it's not going to be forward of the gable. So I think it's almost easier.
Yeah, you can shorten up the gutter board or the trim, the eave of that particular roof to 8 inches or whatever, some dimension smaller, so that you're not trying, you can hold the line, but you don't have to worry about matching a 12-12 pitch with a 6-12 pitch at the valley, which is just going to be very cumbersome.
So you got-
You know, yeah.
Sorry.
If you push it
got it.
back and put a little shed roof on it, that also helps to recreate that L shape that's there now that you were talking about right up originally, Bill.
Yes. Mhm.
And that little porch that's sticking out the rear could be the line that same slope, whatever, comes around and runs down the side of the north side of the house over those windows below.
I think he's got a couple good ideas, and I think he should investigate maybe both options and maybe
Yeah.
show us. And I would draw this rest of this elevation, Dave, just so we can see how it works with the rest of the
Oh
composition.
yeah, good idea.
Got it. Okay.
I think
Right,
we're heading in the right direction, though, and it's just a matter of kind of refining or looking at the two options. Of how
Yeah,
to-
it's close.
Got it. Yeah. Would it be, might I be so bold to ask for with conditional preliminary approval, knowing that if you don't like it when I redraw it and work it out, that you can send me back again, but understanding that's my risk.
I think we're on the same page for the most part. What are can we have a summation? I think we know what the summation is, but we had a lot of maybes. And I'm hearing some flexibility versus demands in terms of particularly the part which in the back, because it's a very private backyard. And I guess I wouldn't get too carried away on the backyard view. More interested in the the face of the barn facing the street is more visible than the back of this house.
And that's on page 1, so slide over, Harry. Oh,
I
Down.
don't, I think that needs to get drawn
Yeah.
further. I think that's the sketch from last time.
Oh, your barn here?
Yeah. So last time,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Okay, well, we can
I'm
wait
still
on,
I'm still a fan of leaving that door, but I think the board was divided on that too. Adding a window on the left or something to balance it. Leaving the hay door, not the garage door.
right.
I could go either way on that. He could either do this composition or keeping the door to the right. I mean, it's half.
I
the-
I'm
agree.
the same way, either way, either
I,
way.
Yeah,
I'll go to keeping the door on the right then, just because weaving back in the siding, even if we do an expert job and repaint it, I still think it could call the eye will call attention to it. So.
Yep.
So here are my notes. Lower the roof pitch on that element on that's being added on the back of the home, not the reverse gable, the element to the right of that. Lower the roof pitch so that it's more subtle. Add a window on the back wall of that that's above the door. And then we have to make sure that we carefully consider the break line on the right side. So the left side. So we step back that left side elevation from that left side reverse gable, and that the break line needs to be thoughtfully done with tied into that existing rear porch or something along those lines in order to make it look intentional, and then redraw the entire left side elevation.
I would just make one comment. I would still bring this option here with seeing the whole elevation though, because.
Okay,
And then we can look at the two options.
I'll draw both.
And there's nothing to keep you from submitting for final. This isn't a new house, so there's no reason you can't. I mean, you don't need a preliminary approval to move to final approval. It's a matter of the level of what you're asking for, that you have all the details, et cetera. So
Got it.
there's still a little more risk in that, but there's no reason you can't advance your cause.
yes, and I think we're moving in the right direction. So under those circumstances, I move to revise and resubmit, given the list that was just read.
A second.
Second. Okay, Bill.
For final, hopefully.
Okay. Joan, do you have all the comments?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks,
Motion.
Dave, for all your detail.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
All right,
Yeah.
Motion by King, seconded by Childs. Naylor,
Yes.
King,
yes.
Childs.
Yes.
Thank you.
Are we ready for
Yeah.
23 water or not?
I'm ready to go. I'm here.
Here he is.
Awesome.
Okay,
There
there
you
you
go.
are.
Art.
You moved your lips and something came out.
And most appropriate with the last name. Good morning,
There you
folks.
go.
Good morning, Stuart.
Morning.
What I'm proposing or what we're proposing for the Strauss House is 23 solar modules on the south-facing side of the house and the rear, the east-facing rear of the house. These are flat satin finish black modules. We are avoiding the standing seam roof area at the rear for aesthetic reasons. And this will produce 80% of their electric kWh usage over 12 months.
And these panels lie flat, correct? They don't.
They
there's
lie
no-
flat, they follow the roof line.
Stuart, I'm a little worried about the lower group of 4 side-facing panels being maybe more prominent than you would want, and also kind of more prominent to the neighbor. Is there a way to move those up to the south-facing side of the rear
Mhm.
gable? That's not standing seam, is it? So
No,
the second
it's
floor
just a-
side facing the same, yeah, right there.
Yes, yes.
I'll see if there's room there. I don't know.
Because it's only 4 panels, so.
Right.
Looks like it might fit just from, I mean, obviously this isn't scaled.
Looks quite a bit bigger, actually. It's an illusion, but the 8 on the connector area don't look like they're flush on the roof, but they actually are.
They are. They're
Okay,
parallel to the roof.
okay, it's a tough draw, but yes.
Yeah, we had trouble obtaining a good layout of that so that we could put the modules there.
Yeah, okay.
I can look at the moving the 4 over to that rear gable area if the Strausses approve.
Any other thoughts?
No, I
Very
agree.
supportive of solar panels and moving that direction. Excuse me, Bill, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
My apologies. I was just going to agree with what George said. If we just move them, I'm fine with the direction or approach. Go ahead.
Me
Sarah.
too. Mhm.
These will be visible during the balloon race, though.
From the balloon.
Thank you, Steve.
Did we get a motion? Did somebody make a motion?
Not yet.
I move to approve with relocation of the 4 panels to the rear gable roof.
I second.
Okay, motion by Naylor, seconded by King. Naylor,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Childs.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, folks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Stuart.
Yep, thanks. Have a good afternoon.
You too.
17 East Orange. I think it's Patui. Is it Patui?
Patuki,
Patuki?
Patuki, right.
Patuki. Ah,
Working on finding Daniel.
What I was looking for in this was some indication of how the retaining wall would actually look. And I felt like I still couldn't get that out of the renderings, but I could have missed something.
Daniel or David, if you are in attendance, could you raise your hand in Zoom so I can identify you? Daniel was online. Now I see some hands. Thank you. Okay, I will. Thank you. I see you. And I see. Ronnie, are you part of this project as well? I thought you were a walk-in today. I see you're raising your hand though.
No, Ronnie's part of it.
Okay, I'll move you over. Thank you.
You should have Daryl Mapson from Tribe Architects.
Sure. I've moved, if your hand was raised, I've moved you to a panelist. If you could unmute and start your camera, please. There we go. Very good. Daryl, I'm moving you over now as well. So I have Daryl, David, and Ronnie as panelists. So Daryl, if you could unmute and start your camera, you'll be part of the discussion as well, if you'd like.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
There you are.
Okay, I guess we can get started. We're coming back from the last submittal, and we really appreciate your comments. Just to review, it's a small restaurant inside of an existing house on Orange Street. And we had 3 issues that came up in the last review. And those were the front door, accessibility at the front door, and also the brick and mortar and the patio lighting. I guess we could start with the front door. What was proposed was to keep the existing wood doors that swing in, and we're proposing, and we took up your suggestion, and we're putting an aluminum frame door and side light, which will open out. And if the house came back to its original state, the aluminum door could be removed. This new door would be installed under the existing transom. The transom would remain. The new aluminum door would be white to match the existing white trim of the transom and on the side of each one of the doors. So that was our proposal for responding to your last comment there. As far as accessibility, we could scroll down to A5. Right there, right there. Okay, as you can see, the landing there to the left, you come up off the handicap ramp, you go into the 5-foot handicap circle, and then you approach the new aluminum entry door with the 2-foot minimum approach zone right there. So we wanted to show that that worked for accessibility. So that was our solution to that comment from the last meeting.
So you're using one on the aluminum,
Yes, we can.
or you're using a single side light to accomplish the 12 inches of space you need for the pull side?
Yes, and also the reason we had to go to the 1 door versus the 2 panel doors, the 2 panel doors, the existing doors are too small for
Right.
exiting purposes. Here's a picture of the door. Obviously it'll be white, but we tried to get the thinnest frame as we possibly could so you could see through the door and see the existing wood doors that are there right now.
I'm very uncomfortable with that setup. The aluminum door and aluminum side light, just the doors are gone, and it's a major feature of the house.
Well, the problem is getting approval from building department as far as accessibility. We're required to have a 3-foot wide accessible door, and those doors are 2 foot 3 inches.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't find combining the 2 doors to 1 big door to be an engineering feat. I don't think that would be that big a deal.
Well, the problem is you're only
The
allowed to have
alternative.
you're only allowed to have a 4-foot door, and that opening is larger than a 4-foot opening. So we were kind of hamstrung by that problem right there, the actual width of the entire opening.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. The door is 4 foot and the opening is wider than 4 feet. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. If we got a door, just a single panel door that went in that opening, it would be larger than that's required per code. Per code, you're only allowed a 4-foot wide door.
But the 2 doors existing together are 4 feet.
No,
4, 6.
4 foot 6.
4'6", yeah, 4'6". Each panel is 2 foot 3 inches, which is smaller than is required per code. We're required to have a minimum 3-foot opening.
So it's too small or too big.
Correct. This suggestion was from the committee in the last review. The aluminum doors.
No, it was a consideration. I remember.
Well, consideration.
And then the side light that's just horrible. I mean,
Well, just creatively trying to think through this problem. If the decorative existing doors were to remain, is there another place you could add the exit door to make it a separate,
No,
putting in the building like to the side there?
We already
Really
had
have
a
it.
discussion.
I think
Okay.
you were,
Sorry,
Did all that last, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry about
we really
that.
have a tight
And
floor
then-
plan.
And then double aluminum doors just creates the same problem as the wood doors, right?
Correct.
Okay. Because
I
that
got-
side light really is not consistent. I'm trying to think of an answer, but I agree with Steve, that side light on this building. I was envisioning more of a large glass panel door so that you could at least see through. And that side light just changes the whole
Yeah.
appearance.
Could you center?
What about a door,
Okay.
extremely custom-made door? I can think of a place that makes these. A 4-foot double-looking door, a brand new double-looking door that's 4 feet and therefore cooked.
And just pack out the sides, is what you're saying?
Yeah. And then wood in the side, not side light.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
could do that. We could do that.
It would be a nice, heavy, it would be beautiful done right, and it would solve a lot of problems.
And then centered onto
And
the,
center.
yes.
Okay,
And
a wood
That's what
door,
Steve's saying. Yeah.
4-foot wood door. Yes, we can do that.
I think that, well, I don't know what kind of flexibility the state's gonna provide in terms of accessibility. You have to push it off to the side. You have to allow enough, as soon as you make that door wider,
Correct.
Harry, if you go back to the plan,
Is it the swing?
A5.
A5.
The reason I wanted Daryl to add the turning circle
Right.
was because the swing in the door and the circle on that, that's shown on that plan cannot intersect.
Okay.
So as soon as you make the door 3'6", 4 foot, there isn't enough landing there to get up for a handicapped person to get their wheelchair out of the way of the swing of the door. So this is all, you know, and ADA's been around for 22 years, so it's not, this is not news here, but
Could you just do a wood door here, like we were proposing, with the side light, like it looks more residential, that's wood, maybe a mahogany with 4-panel door that looks like an old door.
if you keep it a 3-foot door
Right.
and make,
The existing doors recessed though, aren't they?
Yes, they're recessed.
Yeah, so they're not on that landing.
Right.
right, actually putting a new door, pushing a new door all the way out to the plane of the brick
Right.
is helpful for the ADA compliance. As soon as you push it back, then you limit that distance you need from the handle to the outside of the swing of the door.
I guess I'm missing that, Phil. If you move it away from the landing, how is it more of a problem?
Move it away from the landing.
Well, if the door is recessed, the double doors now are not on the landing. They don't swing over the landing, I don't believe, do they?
No, they don't.
So they're back inside. Isn't that good? Is that setback 4 feet?
We could make that work if we remove those existing doors. Push the new door back into a line with the interior face of the brick. I think we might be able to get that the required swing.
Is anyone interested in a 3-foot door that would have very narrow side lights but be centered? Or is that just, is there any room for the glass there, or is it just too small? I mean, nominally 9-inch side lights, but I know that the wood, you might not end up with a lot of light, but if you get 4 or 5 inches of glass, it might decoratively look successful. And I think the centering is important, maybe in conjunction with pushing it back a little, so you're centering it, you could still get your circle there. The centering is really important underneath that arch top of the composition.
I agree.
I guess I'm not hearing why my idea can't fly, especially with the architect's ability to move a new, looks like 2 doors, but a new 4-foot door that is recessed, let's just say enough to swing and not protrude over the landing.
I think it could work.
Well, if you add 6 inches, you're gonna be going into that circle area. There
No,
are
you're,
numerous,
you're moving it into the
Sit
building.
back.
Yeah, we
well,
really-
you're not moving into the building. All he's suggesting is moving it to the backside of the mason area. You can't move the door into the building because then you're gonna be on top of the basement and you have water issues. You'll, every time it rains, you'll have water in the basement. So you're only moving it to the backside of the threshold. There are numerous, I've looked for new doors that look like double doors. And there are doors that have trim on it that look as though they have 2 panels. It has obviously the handle to one side, but there are doors that have trim. And we can go with the other member's suggestion by putting side lights on each side and center the door. A 3-foot door would look aesthetically fine. I mean, unfortunately, we're faced with the federal code for handicap accessibility, which frankly trumps local regulations. And we're trying to do as much as we humanly can to accommodate the aesthetics. My personal feeling is we want to maintain the aesthetics. In fact, I took Carla, the owner of the restaurant, to it's called Rebuilders Exchange downtown, where they recycle old parts and pieces of buildings and doors, etc. And they actually did pick out a door that is fairly dramatic. It's a door from this era, maybe a little bit newer, but it's still a very attractive door that they were going to use. And I think that door was it was more than 36 inches. I think it was 42 inches.
Actually, it was over 48 inches, and that's why we ended up not
Right.
being able to use it.
Correct.
You could cut it back perhaps.
Possibly the size we could, but even still, there are other doors, single doors that we can find that may not be 100% accurate as to the time period. However, I've seen some 36-inch new doors that have trim, and I know Carla wants to maintain the integrity of the house. They've gone to great lengths even to make the bar look old. They bought wainscot paneling from this place downtown. So they're doing their best. It's, there's economics involved. To get a custom made door would probably exceed $1,000 alone for that door, I'm
I
sure.
think you're right. I think you're right. But I'm hearing over and over how we want to maintain the aesthetics, and sometimes you got to pay the piper. I don't think you're going to find a door necessarily. You're going to have to
Well-
alter it greatly, or just step up to the plate and build a custom door from the ground up. I think
Well-
the answer is to have a 4-foot door that looks like a double door, so it pleases aesthetics. I don't see side lights in this building. It just doesn't fly. Look at a picture of the old building. That's what we're trying to maintain.
I understand, and I completely.
There are a lot of places that have thresholds that are over the foundation. I mean.
Well, this threshold is over the foundation, but you can't go into the basement. Then you'll have a water issue, and they're using the basement for storage, for food, etc. And it would just be very difficult and very cumbersome even to try to push it farther back in.
You can make a waterproof threshold that extends into the building.
With all due respect, you can make anything you want, but what's practical and not practical here, we're dealing with, again, the federal law that requires this accessibility. Frankly, the whole front area is impacted because of accessibility issues, but
I don't think we're talking handicap issues. I think we're talking money issues. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, money, you have an economic practical issue here. I mean, it's unrealistic to expect the restaurant owner who's responsible for this to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to replace the door. There are doors that are 3-foot doors that have trim to make them look double. This building has been altered over the years. There's been significant changes. The building across the street where Tufts is, which was built approximately the same time, has been altered. The other houses on the street, which were built in similar times, have all been altered. In fact, there's some doors that have your typical Home Depot pre-hung door that are being used as front doors. Here, they're going to great lengths to try to maintain the integrity, but it's unfortunately because of the federal law, it can't be the same. And they have to respect the federal law unless you have a way around it, and I don't think there is such a thing.
I think you're overstating the case, because I think there's a way to consider a couple of these options and still maintain a turning radius out there beyond the door swing. I mean, I think there's a little jigging and jogging you can do and pushing that door back. You're right, not pushing it back 5 feet, but pushing it back, to the back edge of the wall. And I think potentially you could get a 4-foot swing that worked. I mean, we're also working with an existing landing, I guess, that just appeared one day. So,
Well, the landing that was there was actually smaller. This was what was approved by the state to accommodate the lift and the accessibility.
Yeah, because that is the other solution, to make the landing wider,
Right.
more towards the front.
Well,
And
you also
then
have
you
to,
the swing for all of it, and the landing was done before we saw it.
well, you also have to think a 4-foot door, being a wood door, is going to be extraordinarily heavy. Well, it's up to the tenant, but I would
If you get the
suggest,
right hinges on it, that door will be workable.
They're all over the place.
Yeah.
well,
You just don't like the idea.
well, well, I'm just thinking of there are doors that are 3 foot. You can get them 42 inches. I'm sure you can find them 4 foot. By the way, just as an aside, when you mentioned about stepping up to the plate, the tenant, along with ourselves, because we're contributing towards some of the costs, they're spending in excess of close to $350,000. So they're making a significant investment in the community and into the home, which is bringing it up to modern codes. The building is being sprinkled and all the electrical, plumbing, everything is being upgraded. So they are making a very significant investment. And every couple $1,000s adds to that investment, which makes it almost becomes a point of being impractical. So they're adding to the community. They're bringing jobs in the community. They're taking a vacant building off of the market. They're spending well over $350,000 on the property, and they're doing their best to comply with the federal law and your local your desire to maintain the integrity of the aesthetics. They do need to move the project forward. I don't, this was the solution that I was under the impression that the board had asked for the last time, to leave the existing doors, put aluminum or some kind of
We propose aluminum as a possible solution. This solution does not work. And I'm getting fatigued hearing the same thing over and over again. We're looking for a 4-foot door that looks like 2 doors, period. We don't need to give you the solution. We can tell you what we need. And if you'd have done this project correctly in the beginning, we wouldn't be doing, retro approval of anything. You would have known what the price was going in. But oh my gosh and golly, finger pointing, you didn't come to us, you didn't hear from us. Now you're hearing from us. So you need to act on that.
Well, nobody's finger pointing here. We're trying to comply.
You were last time, big time.
Well, I'm not here to.
I think we've reviewed the plans. I think we've given some constructive feedback. The plans that are presented today, I would vote no on. I think we've given you some constructive feedback on where we'd like to see it to go. Show us some cut sheets if you're proposing new. You know how we feel about the old doors. Did you have one other item you wanted to present today? The lighting, the patio lighting?
Correct.
Yeah.
As you can see right here in this plan, right here, you can see the light poles down at the railing. We're proposing one center light in the middle. It's a double head. I'll show that to you in a second. And the other circles would be single pole lights. The lamps would be 2700 Kelvin lights, which is kind of a warm, early summer light, so it won't be so bright as you're coming down the street. And here, if you could pan down, I have a cut sheet of the lights.
that what you're looking for, Daryl?
Yeah, just one more too, one more down. Okay, here's what we're proposing on the center lights. We tried to take the committee suggestion on what was there previously. So that would be centered on the patio with an ornamental pole. And if you put the scan, I think down one more, I think we showed the single pole. And here's the single pole light with the ornamental post and the lamp and the soft warm bulb that would go inside of it. So that's our solution to the lighting proposals.
So how
And
many?
then-
of those- Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to see the placement of the, I'm sorry, I keep running over you today. but
Yeah, I was the same way. I wanted to see the placement.
I wanted to see the placement of the fixtures.
Yeah, go back to A5, Harry.
One thing I do like about those lights is that they're solid lid. They don't create a lot of light pollution or light spray up and
Right.
out. They should direct the light pretty well down for you.
Right there, Harry. Slide it over. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, you see the pole in the center of the patio? That would be the double light. The two on the end would be eliminated. And then the other circles would be the other single pole lights. So you have 3 single pole lights at the rear and the 1 double in the center.
So this is double, and then these are,
Correct.
when you say these are gone?
Yeah, those 2 are gone, and we have the 3 at the rear. Correct. So you see that double light, which was part of the history of the property at one point in time, trying to create a memory.
What about the area here for lighting, and like here is this light right here gonna suffice to cover those areas too? Looks like you got, I'm assuming these are gonna point this way and something's gonna point this way and something's gonna point this way, correct? And when you need something here, or I was just curious, that's all, just to make sure you got proper lighting.
Right. I mean, we could add more. It gets a little cluttered with the all those vertical elements. And I did propose to the owner, there are some nice lights now that you could put on the patio tables, which would be some local lights too, while you're eating, which wouldn't affect the whole brightness, which you guys had mentioned last time in the last committee meeting. So I think that could be a nice touch also.
Okay.
I think one other thing that in the last meeting, the double was suggested down at the bottom of the stairs where the old signpost was, and that these on the patio would be singles. So that if you follow the walkway down to the stairs, and Ronnie pointed out a post that had been there previously, that's where in old pictures it showed a double light there also.
Okay.
So if you're worried about lighting in the corners on the front of the patio, we could keep all those lights as singles and move that historic double down to the bottom of the stairs where that old post was.
Good suggestion. We could do that.
What about 2 down there that relate to these 2?
The one that's on as you're facing the patio, the far left.
Yeah.
I was thinking that creates, a good source of light for entering the patio.
But maybe just moving it over a little could
Sure.
still work. Oh, so you were I thought you were eliminating that one, actually.
Well, this is what Daryl was saying. I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, okay. Well, so I thought the 2, that one, or especially if those 2 front ones were both doubles, they
only
might
double
serve
I-
your purpose there for getting a way in that's lit.
Yeah.
Since that could be a little more organized.
So you're saying where you have the 2 yellow dots, those could both be doubles?
Wendy's shaking her head.
Yeah.
Thinking out
Oh, yeah,
loud.
me too. Yeah, I go for the singles on the
Singles.
patio and then the double down by the sidewalk.
Gotcha. Okay.
What are the lumens of these? You mentioned the temperature. What are the lumens?
I don't know the lumens right off the top of my head right now.
Because there are some LED bulbs that'll, warm or not, they'll be overbearing.
Correct.
we have all of this wired potentially back to the basement and can be put on a dimmer so that the, you know, the lumen intensity can be
That's great.
adjusted to, you know, a
Yes.
pleasing level.
Time of day, day of the year, yeah.
Exactly.
Is it possible to put those in your renderings? Those are pretty dominant elements and large, just to see how they look and relate to the rest of the composition.
Yes, we could do that.
And we talked about the brick sample, and do we have a rendering of the wall? George was mentioning that early on. You know, what's this wall going to look like?
If they're gonna build a sample that we can go review, that could serve better than a rendering. I mean, I do see it's called out as brick with a stone cap.
Go up to A3, Harry. Okay, there's a picture of the wall there, looking from the side. From the front.
Yeah, kind of a CAD CAM picture, I guess.
It looks like it might leave the concrete steps exposed. Is that your intent?
Correct. Correct.
I don't think those are concrete steps. David, were you gonna have your mason build those steps? Rather than concrete?
Mhm.
David?
He may have jumped out, Ronnie.
I don't think he's on.
Yeah, we can make those out of masonry.
Yeah, I think the contractor was planning on making those out of masonry versus concrete to
That
make it
sounds
more.
good.
Yeah,
If they were just to match the
right.
stone
It was
brick.
gonna be, correct. It was gonna be the same brick.
Terrific. Okay.
Okay, I think that was it. Going back to the door, just to come to a solution, we will look at it. We will put a 4-foot door in, recess it so we do get that clearance. I think we can work that out without having to go too far into the building, Ronnie. And that would just be a wood door that'll be centered, centered and look like a double panel door. And that would just be a solid wood door.
I have a source of old doors. Lorraine Avenue has its limitations. This guy has far-reaching. I'd like you to review his name just to see if that might be a
Sure.
source.
Is
You
that the
talking
guy in
about
Toledo? Steve, is that Architectural Artifacts in Toledo is another source? That might be Steve's source.
Yeah, I've been in there. That's a lot like Lorraine Avenue. This guy's Denny Walker. He supplied a lot of door. Every door in my house is I bought from Denny. Interior and exterior.
We were not talking about Lorraine. There's a 70,000 square foot warehouse. It's called Rebuilders Exchange. You may want to go there if you like old things. It's at 52nd and Hamilton.
Okay.
It's extraordinary what they have there.
That's good. That's what the place in Toledo is like that Wendy's talking about.
We had Dan Weaver build the doors at the Historical Society. We
Okay.
actually went in reverse. When it was a funeral home, they had converted the front door from the 2-foot 3-inch wide doors or 2-foot 2-inch wide doors paired to a single 3-foot door with 2 side lights. The side lights weren't big enough to hold the glass. We took that out. Unfortunately, in our case, I had to argue with the state that there was sufficient travel distance. The travel distance was short enough to get out of a handicap door to the rear so that we could actually put a pair of 2-foot 2 doors back in, but Dan Weaver built the doors, did a beautiful job. And it
Do you have a
wasn't,
phone number
um,
or an area we can look at?
yeah, hold on.
Daniel Weaver's out on Nauvoo Road. He can build anything that you can conceive.
What road was that?
Nauvoo Road. I have his number at home. I'm up in Michigan, actually.
Okay, 440
Hmm.
632 3430.
You mentioned somebody named Benny Walker.
Denny Walker.
Oh, Denny, do you have that number by any chance or an address?
That's an architectural salvage yard. That's a really good one.
He's got barns of stuff all over the state, actually. Oh, here's Danny Walker. He's a character. I'll just tell you that going in. You might mention my name. It might help you. 330-606-0730 and 330-633-1081.
Okay. I'll make sure that Carla, who's the restaurant owner, talks to all these people. Now, there's one other item that I want to make sure we get on the table. I don't know if the architect has formally done it, but right now the south elevation, and I want to make sure everything is presented to you so there's no surprises to anyone. They
Go up a
have to
little.
take out
Pan
that
up.
window. Harry, go back to the south elevation.
Yeah, pan up, just right there.
There.
Oh, no,
Back,
pan
keep
up,
going.
pan up.
Keep going.
Right there.
That's good, right there.
North
That-
elevation?
This door, or the door to the left, or the window actually, has to be taken out and made into a door. Now, I believe that that little gable there, that's going to remain open, right? Right now it's being showed.
You mean the lintel?
Well, there's a door, there's a window there where it shows that lintel. That's got to be a door, because it has to be an exit door for the upstairs. And because that other doorway goes into the kitchen, I believe the tenant is leaving that door there, and the contractor had made a good suggestion to extend that, redo that gable so it covers both doors. The one door goes into the kitchen and it can't be used as an emergency exit. It'll be just basically a delivery door or an employee door. But the other one they have to change. So I know the architect has to work on this back elevation. Right now, that horizontal rectangular lintel is there. And the goal is to create a three-foot door underneath that by taking out the window.
Oh, are you talking about the one that says new hollow metal
Correct.
door and frame?
Correct.
Right. And then we were just proposing a simple canvas awning to match the, it would be forest green to match the existing shutters.
Well, we want to make sure that we get everything presented to the ARB,
Yeah.
so there's
So
no open issues.
Do we have a photo of the back?
I don't have one.
Is there one inside here?
So it looks like that needs to be drawn and really shown architecturally much
absolutely.
more carefully.
I'll,
So
try.
there's
Yes,
a wood,
part of
there's a
that
wood frame
historical
structure
report,
over a brick structure.
if you look at page 5 of the historical report, I don't know if anyone has that or if it's on the system here. It shows the back elevation.
I don't have it.
Oh,
What's the date of the historic report, Harry?
Oh,
Like, what
It
was the
is
first
December-
meeting?
December
December
11th, 2020.
December 11?
Yes. 2020. Unfortunately, the state's requiring that window be turned into a doorway to allow for emergency access. They won't allow, obviously, access through the kitchen for the general public.
so above that door, above that window, existing window, is a stone lintel.
Yes, currently there
matches.
right now.
Correct.
So you are gonna, and the width of the masonry is 3 foot
Correct.
4? 3
Yes,
foot 4, 3 foot
It should
6?
just make it.
yes, 3'4".
Okay. So if you cut the masonry
Below the window.
below the window.
Right.
And leave the header where it is,
Correct.
and either build a very tall door or a door with a transom, maybe a
Yes.
transom light above.
Right. If you pan down just a little bit, Harry, you see the door right there. There's a door in the transom right there.
Okay, yeah. Then I don't see a reason why would you want or need an awning?
We don't have to have, it's not required. We could,
I'm looking at the historic significance report and I'm seeing an infilled opening on the east side around the corner
Yes.
that already has a stone lintel there, then underneath has been infilled. Can you use that opening? Just reopen that opening and then keep that whole rear configuration intact?
I don't believe inside, if you
There's
look
a
at the floor
stairway
plan,
there now.
the problem
there's
is
a
that's an
stairway.
exit. Yes, it's a stair hall, stairway. It's the stair hall exit way. We have to come out of that
Okay.
location right there.
Okay,
That was infilled when they added a stairway to the second floor, when the second floor was added to the top of the structure.
okay.
Can we go with just no awning? Just keep the steel lintel, transom in the door?
Keep the stone lintel,
Yeah, keep the stone lintel,
Yes, get the
transom in the door. and just
transom
leave that.
door, and don't put anything over it, and
Right. Is that okay with the committee?
I agree.
What door did you have in mind?
It was just a flush hollow metal door. We can upgrade that door to a wood panel door.
That sounds better.
Okay.
Well, I'm just thinking for maintenance purposes, instead of a wood panel door, especially in the back there, how would the board feel about a fiberglass wood-like door? There's numerous types of fiberglass doors, since it's not street frontage, that backs right up to the parking garage. So there's very little visibility.
yeah,
That seems sensible. That seems sensible, especially with no awning. I think if you go for a painted look, a smooth finish on it, that would be just as nice as a wood door, and it would not rot. So I agree with that approach.
So fiberglass type, they do have them with wood grain. Where
Yeah.
unless you touch it, you may not even know.
No wood grain.
No wood grain,
The
just
wood
a-
grain actually looks fake. The smooth ones look real.
All right.
All right, smooth.
Okay,
Okay, and no awning.
And-
Okay, all right,
are we
great.
ready for a motion? Have we covered it all?
Okay, can I just review real quick? We're gonna put a 4-foot door at the front and build up the jambs, relocate the lights at the patio. We'll have a dimmer on the lights at the patio. The stairs at the front will be masonry, show lights in the rendering. And at the rear elevation, no awning, keep the existing stone lintel, and we have a fiberglass smooth wood-like door. So that's my notes right there.
And I think the only other thing that we haven't covered is whether the board has seen the brick that makes up the retaining wall. And
Okay,
that's been dropped off at Harry's.
Right, right. And we're matching existing. That's that was the idea.
In approaching Daniel Weaver, if you have a drawing, he'll build it and give you a price. But
Got you.
very exact drawing.
Okay, will do.
I have a drawing that I did for Dan, for the Historical Society. It's probably the same door. Be happy to send that to you to help you move in that direction.
that'd be great. Can you get it to Harry? And then Harry can, I'm in touch with him all the time.
Okay.
I know you have his information.
So,
All right.
motion to revise and resubmit based on
Okay.
architect comments.
Second.
Harry's gone.
Uh,
David, can you just tell me what your position is? Are you just the contractor?
The architect, I believe.
Daryl is the architect.
Daryl's the architect, so I wasn't sure if,
Okay.
Here's this brick.
Harry.
Yeah. I gotta see it. We gotta see it.
Okay, you can come down and do touchy-feely. It'll be in my office.
Okay.
Okay.
So we put a motion out, Harry, and we got a second. Thank you, Harry.
All right, so,
Motion Naylor, second King,
okay.
to revise
Got all the notes?
and resubmit.
Yes.
Okay, King,
Yes?
Naylor,
Yes.
Childs.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So
I
now will
just
we
got
be on the
I
next,
just got a text from Joan. She wants a 2-minute recess.
are we gonna be on
Only
the
2
next
minutes.
agenda?
Only 2
good
minutes.
idea,
Yes.
but I didn't do it. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Ron, I'll put you on the next agenda.
2-minute
right, thank you.
recess.
You're welcome.
Take off when Harry shows up.
I'm back. I'm waiting on you guys.
Okay. I guess we're waiting on Bill. There's Bill.
Yep.
We ready to go? Okay. The Cub Fredo in 25 Pleasant Drive, the Raintree Building.
Steve and Andrew, if you could unmute and start your cameras, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. We can't
Good
see you
morning.
though.
Good morning. This is Steve, the architect. I believe the owner may be on the call, but I don't think he's got unmute capabilities. And yeah, I can start my video, but really what we've got to look at is what Harry has up on the screen, which is the revised front and the east front elevations and north side elevations. What we've done is reconfigure the frame of the proposed overhead sectional doors to closely mimic the existing frame configuration on that front east facade, and also mimic that more square frame profile on that north side elevation that you can see in the lower elevation. Yep, there's a photo of the existing frame configuration on that front east facade that will be mimicking very closely with the new replacement sectional overhead insulated glass doors. And very similarly on the side north elevation, we're creating new openings with new sectional insulated glass doors with what we thought were similar frame configurations to what we're doing at the front. And that's in response to the committee's comments from my initial review.
So which front is it? Is it this one here that we're seeing or the other one? This front here, one previous to that you just showed us.
Actually, the one that you just highlighted is a earlier, now obsolete version. The owners asked me to continue to modify that front elevation to raise that logo partially up into that wood fascia above the door. So yeah, in the initial elevation that Harry put up is the current sign panel proposal. I don't know if you can go back to that one, Harry. It's the addendum. Yeah, there.
When you opened with it.
There you go.
The only comment I'd have on this is I wouldn't do this L-shaped panel here. I would just make this straight and make it a square so that this element reads as one, these elements read as one, and then this reads as one. And just make it a perfect square and put that in there.
Gotcha. And we do understand that signage has yet to be submitted for separate review. So obviously I'll make sure this is conveyed to the client and his sign vendor, but I understand that comment and I can do that.
So they're going to take off the, whatever that thing is that's on the outside of that building now, awning, canopy, door enclosure thing.
Yes.
And go back to sort of having a pair of doors with, you know, like a sign band that's broken up into 1, 2, 3 panels on either side with a larger panel in the middle. They're gonna go back to that.
That is correct.
And what Bill is saying, what you're saying, Bill, is extend the, sort of get rid of what's there now and break that massing of where the sign is into more of a square, square configuration.
You have brick here, you'd have brick here, you'd have brick here,
Yeah, yeah,
and then you'd have a brick here.
okay, I agree.
I think that would look nice.
Yeah,
I actually think this is going to be very nice.
yeah.
Excited about this idea. Seems to work with the old building very well.
It's a challenging build.
Yep, I've just made a couple notes on my elevation and I will convey that to the client and his sign vendor.
And I assume you've got some dimensions. That's not larger than whatever the limit is, 18 square feet or something. Harry,
The sign, I
Yeah.
haven't done a zoning review, but they know it can't be over 12 square feet.
12 square feet, okay.
So this is a final?
Yes,
So can we approve as noted?
sure.
We're not looking at the side elevation. There's no comments on the side elevation.
Only if you got them.
I
That
think we
side
went through
door,
that.
I
The side
thought
door-
it looked good.
the side doors for
agree.
getting the patio for eating, right?
That's correct. There's an adjacent patio to the north on that
Mm-hmm.
lower north side elevation, correct?
Oh, this looks like the door could use, are you going to have anything on the patio? I mean, I don't know. Dressing it up, it looks like the door looks like it could use something, like a awning, or if it's part of,
Maybe something to lift it up to the
Yeah.
same height as the
Yeah.
top of those.
Like
garage
a wood
doors.
transom panel or something?
Yeah.
Something to, yeah.
And I think similar to our previous applicant, if you want to make those smooth fiberglass painted doors with the same panel configuration and lights, as long as it's nicely detailed, especially around the lights, so like a smooth star.
I would rather see an aluminum door there.
Aluminum door. Yeah, I mean,
this is a commercial.
The wood
structure.
door isn't going to hold up, probably.
No. We're gonna have aluminum overhead doors, entry doors.
Powder coated. Yeah, you're right. So just make it consistent with what's to the left of it.
And the blank one is a fire exit or something?
Yes, the one further in the center, yes, that is an existing flush panel hollow metal door.
Right.
The existing exit door, correct. To be maintained.
Yeah, if that door could get up to the same height as the sectionals, that'd be
The
great.
new door, not,
Yeah, the new door adjacent to the new sectional doors. Yes, I'm going to introduce a transom above, so the top elevation lines of the top of the
carrying that
sectional
line.
doors. And yes, correct.
okay,
We ready for a motion? Steve, you got
I
one?
think so.
Motion for final approval with squared off signboard above entry and new door to match sectional door header. Were there any other comments?
Sounds good. I second
Okay.
that.
Motion by Naylor, seconded by King. Childs,
Yes.
Naylor,
Yes,
King.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm looking forward to seeing that, something come back there.
Yeah, I agree.
thank you, Steve.
Carrie, for the next project, the contact for AD Architecture Design, is that Matt Ross?
No, that AD architecture is,
Kevin White?
yes.
I see you, Kevin. There we go. Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Brad's coming in.
291 North
Vote.
Street.
And Rooney's, I'll move you into the room. You're welcome to unmute if you have anything to say. That'll give you the option.
Can you guys hear me okay?
yeah,
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, everyone.
Steve, just for your information, as I said in my email, I did send out revised notices as a courtesy notice to adjacent property owners. I have not heard any comments back on this new design, so.
Okay, new dwelling. Let's take a look.
Well, this is our second preliminary submission. The previous submission was
Kevin, you're really quiet. I can hardly hear you. I'm sorry.
You can hardly hear me. Okay, let me see what I can do with my audio settings. Microphone. How's that? Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Terrific. Awesome. All right, fantastic. All right, well, the first submission that we went through on this project, this is a preliminary submission. We were exploring a shingle style home, had favorable kind of responses about that. In kind of reviewing it with the owners, they were changing that they did not want to use the shingles. So they wanted to go with more of a traditional feel, but still keep some of the elements of the shingle style that we had. So we've replaced the shingles with just vinyl siding. And we've kept the basic organization of the design in the same format, but we're going to kind of substitute some of the detailing. On the front elevation, we still have the sort of vertical stacking, the design orientation where you've got your front doors, a vertical line being drawn. You have the small window in the bathroom, symmetrically placed bedroom windows along that vertical axis. And instead of the shingle style oval window, now we're going to more of a traditional vent up in the highest pediment. The notes on the garage doors, we've raised them, and we've got windows flanking on the other side, and we've taken away the sweeps and the dormer element that we had before, kind of the sweeping, radiusing of the shingle style. On the rear elevation, similar. If you could drop down there, Harry, just a little bit. Maybe it's on my screen. Terrific. The rear elevation, again, we're removing the radiuses. We're going with more of a traditional form. The window pattern has stayed the same. With the dormer has also been removed. If you drop down to the side elevations, you'll see there's a few things we've done. Okay, this elevation was an alternate that we were going to present just to get the board's feeling about this. In this alternate, we're removing the elliptical window over the double doors. I know Bill at the last time mentioned perhaps going with a single door, which was good. We explored it. The owners would prefer the double doors. They felt strongly about it. So, in this case, the doors now are just traditional doors, all straight. There's no ellipticals. There's no radiuses. We were presenting that as well. So if you could drop down a little more, Harry. Side elevations, we've got, again, just a traditional, it's up and down. The siding is wrapping all the way around the house. They're direct vent fireplaces. The one in the porch would be stone, the other one would be siding. And on the opposite side, there's just like a shed over frame. The window, the door moved back and the other window stayed the same. So that's kind of the introduction, and I welcome your comments and your suggestions. Look forward to hearing them.
I think I like this solution, and I'm fine with this composition. My only comment would be it'd be nice to have a pilaster like right here, just to mimic this column if it's possible.
Sure.
And then I would be fine with either solution on the front entry, either elliptical or the pediment. I would just recommend, getting the details correct since it's on the front of a house.
Sure.
That book, Get Your House Right, shows you how to go step by step, how to do that elliptical and get all those moldings and those proportions correct. And same with the pediment. But other than that, I'm fine with this solution. I do feel like that should be a single door, but I can appreciate that they want the double doors.
Yep. Thank you, Bill.
I guess we've, we're okay with vinyl siding in this location.
That's where I was gonna go.
I mean, the question is that an appropriate material for that side of the house? That's one solution. I would argue it's not an appropriate material, at least for the direct vent fireplace, that little doghouse. That's something that we're trying not to let happen. I think the side elevations, we're not looking at the old ones, you know, they're suffering a little from simplification, but this little sided fireplace pop out, I do not think that's successful. So I guess that's where I'd go to, you know, I mean, I'd like it to look like a real chimney.
Yeah.
If it's going to be just a direct vent fireplace, just put it in line with the wall, let it come into the room, 1.5 feet, and put a vent on it. And if it's just a wall with a vent, then I'm okay. But when it bumps out and hangs out like that, I mean, it should have a window in it. It shouldn't.
Terrific. Good comments. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree with George on those comments. I'm sorry I missed that direct vent fireplace and the vinyl siding. I would definitely not do the vinyl siding, and I would do it, you know, basically put that fireplace flush with the wall.
And I'm not a fan of the vinyl siding. Can we say don't do it? Because I know there's adjacent vinyl siding, there's other new vinyl sided houses and vinyl sided houses on the street, and aluminum sided house on the street. I don't know what our position is on that. No one likes it. I don't know if we can tell you can't do it.
Yeah, moving to an aluminum siding or a hardy board is going to allow you to get a level of detail that you can't get with the vinyl. The design is very nice here, but I think when it translates into a vinyl material, it's going to look.
Yes, that's why we don't approve vinyl siding on new houses. When you have a house that's vinyl sided and you're adding an addition, yes, and well, there's a lot of vinyl siding in the neighborhood. Yes, but we wish it would all go away, and going away means not contributing to more vinyl siding in the neighborhood. So for new structures, I don't think
I don't remember us doing vinyl. I mean, if they can go to a hardy board.
Well, I think we probably could. Thank you very much for those comments.
Well, that'd be great. So hardy with Miratech trim would be
it's going to take it to another level. Yeah.
Would be a huge help for the detailing and give you
Certainly, absolutely correct. Yeah, absolutely correct. Certainly.
So I have an overall question. I think it's I have two overall questions, if I may. I got to add the column, and I'm hearing on the fireplace that we either need to bring the foundation down and stone it and look like a chimney, or bring it in the room. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then as far as the vinyl siding goes, there was a home a couple doors down north of that property that is new construction with the vinyl siding. I just want, this is for me, just education for me, and then for future projects, right? Is the board saying that for new construction that, you know, kind of like that vinyl siding is not going to be approved, just so I could set that expectation with clients?
We review projects case by case, but if you want a general rule, you can't get the level of detail that's probably demanded under our design guidelines by using vinyl material.
Okay.
Windows.
Thank you, Wendy. Thanks for those comments.
Well put. Well put.
George, what kind of trim did you say to use with the hardy board?
Well, a less expensive but still solid. It's like a newer masonite type trim is called Miratech. That's been used extensively
Right.
in town up in is it Falls Walk behind the Sears house. So that's what all those houses are, and that certainly is acceptable in terms of quality. You've got other trim options, but that would make it much nicer than a aluminum wrapped trim.
So we just so the board is aware, all the trim detailing that you see around the windows and the doors and the columns and all that, we are using the Miratech product. I mean, we were really hoping to use the vinyl siding with the Miratech. Obviously, it's to somebody's point, nobody loves vinyl siding. It's financially motivated, obviously. But I'll go back to the client. But we planned on using the Miratech trim around all the windows and doors and that detailing. So thanks.
So you use a Miratech J channel, basically. It's trim that allows you to tuck the siding.
Yeah, we use a 5/4 Miratech, and then we put the J channel to that, and so that gives us more of that wood look around all the windows and doors, and then use the just use the vinyl for the siding, and then the corners was.
You can make a argument.
It's just such a huge sacrifice of detail.
If you can make the argument to them that the Hardy will give them a much cleaner detail now, but also, in 30 years, that vinyl is likely going to be shot, and this house will need to be re-sided, and all that stuff's going to go into the dump somewhere. And if you do Hardy now, that's a long-term solution that's sustainable over the long haul. That it's just better for everyone all the way around. If we could stay away from the vinyl, I mean,
okay,
there's a value in it.
Those comments, I agree with those comments, George. Those are very good comments. Appreciate that very much.
I
Steve, are you
have
ready
one
Oh,
other
excuse
quick.
me, Brad, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Wendy.
It's okay. Excuse me. I was going to make a motion, so go ahead.
Can I have just one quick question? But we're not submitting this now, but I just trying to not run into barricades here. As far as the stone to grade goes, they really want this simple classic look. And I don't know that I have seen or haven't seen it, but we're hoping to do we have our poured walls, and then we wanted a skim coat over those poured walls. To make it look like just a concrete skim coating. They had seen that detail on another house and liked it. Is that something that, do you understand what I'm trying to describe first?
Arched foundation wall.
Yeah. Is that something that is a classic look and you're into, or is that something you guys want us to stay away from?
It's not a classic look. I'd stay away from that just from a.
It's not the end of the world, but it's not preferred.
Okay.
But I mean, maybe it is the end of the world.
Yeah.
No, I'll be okay. I'll be okay.
I mean that's.
They're applying, aren't there stone?
You're asking me, yeah.
If we can get the Hardy, it's the much bigger issue.
Okay, that would be great if I can just allocate some of that money we had for the stone to grade towards the Hardy, to achieve the wider plank and like George was saying, not adding a garbage to our fill or whatever. So I'll discuss that with the client. No problem.
Are you ready for a motion, Steve?
I am.
Okay.
I stand.
Motion for preliminary approval of plans that presented with removal of doghouse on side elevation and specification of hardy board siding and Miratech trim.
What about adding? No, never mind.
Pizza.
I was going to say, what about adding a pilaster and making sure?
Pilasters on the details on the corners. Right. I agree with that.
And adding pilaster detail. Okay.
Pilaster details out of Miratech.
At the front porch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and getting the details correct on the final for all the molding.
I'll pull that, Bill. I'll get that out of there at Get Your House Right. I'll pull that out and get that for the next one.
Joan, did you get that?
Appreciate it.
Adding pilaster details on the front porch.
There you go.
Okay.
So that's the motion. Okay.
Who's the second?
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Bill, George.
Appreciate
Steve,
it. Have a
Wendy.
good
And
day.
who seconded the motion?
I did, Bill Childs.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
Okay, motion by Naylor, second by Childs. King,
Yes.
Naylor,
Yes.
Childs.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Take
Yep,
care.
thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great week.
Thanks, Fred.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Bye-bye.
95 North Street.
Oh, so on this, I want to, we had actually more brackets on the drawing, and we're showing just brackets on the front entry porch for this. So this, we wanted to get back and just kind of discuss again these windows and that overhang. So if we want to go to this elevation and look at it quickly, I know, then I can share the screen with an alternate elevation that, so that, yeah, and we're really kind of focusing on the front. This is still preliminary, so we're trying to work through. So we did as a more traditional shed entry off that front door, and then with brackets. But Harry, if you stop sharing, I will share. Screen share, and then wait, that's not helpful. Where was this? Ah, did that share?
Not yet.
Nope.
Not yet.
Got nothing. It says you've started screen sharing.
I'm bringing up, I know. Where's my,
You're frozen. Maybe that's it.
I even, shoot. I can't do anything with this. Oh, God.
George, are you just trying to do a screen share?
I'm trying to do a screen share and I can't get back to my Zoom now.
It
Well, you're
may have
frozen on our
minimized.
side.
I will
think-
stop your screen share. Hold on a second. Stop.
And I'm not sure I've got a program that I can't get rid of. I'm still on the Zoom, right?
Yep.
You are. It appears that the screen share is stuck.
But you're
Yeah,
fro-
I think
it's
I
frozen
froze
on
up.
the-
I've got,
Mhm.
close all windows.
So I started a share. There we go. Let's try again. Now we're back at a regular screen. I'm going to re-enable the panelist screen share. George, if you want to try one more time.
I think George is gone.
Oh, he did. I bet he left the meeting and he'll come back in fresh.
There he is.
You're connecting, George. Just give it a second.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Let's try one more time.
We'll try one more time.
There we
Hey.
go.
That work better?
Yes.
Okay.
Ah,
Sorry about that. This elevation shows the additional 2 brackets that we thought could be nice to visually support that front overhang. So recognizing that this isn't purely traditional, maybe it's a little quirky, the house is a little quirky, and the house certainly isn't really traditional. We're just kind of throwing this out. We also added a little weight to this window up here with shutters up high and flip these windows around. So that although they still have the unconventional side light that was under discussion, and I know that people don't love it, I don't think they look so much like eyes, or at least not cross-eyed. So it's quirky. I think it's fun. I mean, I still like this. So we're want to show this to you one more time in a preliminary manner with more visual support with those brackets, and just kind of changing what's around it to see if you'd entertain still looking at those windows, which my clients really like, and you know, we think are, I think are a good solution, albeit unconventional, not traditional, but it's not a traditional house.
The house is quirky.
It's
but
quirky.
You've made it more
There's some
balanced.
Quirky stuff added to it. I mean, we're not the taste patrol, I don't think, but electric yellow chevrons on shutters, you know, on basically a traditional house. I did find that the windows are from the early 30s.
Yeah, they're metal.
Well, metal or not, I mean, though that arrangement, and they're not cross-sided when you put the floor windows on the outside of the upper two. The accoutrements are interesting. Quirky is a good way to put it. What does the neighborhood think about quirky?
I mean, I think it's actually kind of fun. I think it can kind of be itself, and it's going to be, you know.
Okay, and then you didn't put shutters on the second floor because it was too much, right?
Well, so the shutters, I mean, I still think we have some of these double hung windows in the house with shutters.
Yeah. I mean, I know we can't just put shutters on the two. We don't do that. And then if you put
Yeah, I
shutters
just
on
thought those
the front of the
windows,
window,
they were going to look
it looks to be too
forced
much.
shutters.
I can kind of live with the bracket. You're
We've already
sort of
got them down below.
Swiss chalet on me here. So
Yeah.
I can kind of do the brackets if you keep the brackets really simple so they don't distract, but it's a tough house. I defer to the architects on this. I really do. It could be fun.
Yeah, we should call the shutters Tesla shutters.
Tesla shutters.
I think organization-wise, the massing is well done. I think the organization, the composition is well done. I think that adding these brackets kind of help. Oh, sorry, hold on. I think adding these brackets kind of help balance the composition with this side here. And I think, you know, I'm the only thing I'm torn on. It seems like we've got a lot of different styles. So I'm not familiar. I didn't have a chance to drive around the neighborhood. Is it fairly eclectic and there's a lot of different houses and things going on, and this would fit right in the neighborhood? That would be my only.
Sort of, yeah.
You do have everything from some kind of 30s modern little, you know, funny compositions up there on that street, to some more straightforward ranches, which is where this one started, you know, that are in the 60s or 50s and 60s. And then to older houses, which are, you know, typically steep roofed. And as you go down North Street, you've got steeper pitch, 10, 12, 12, 12, nicer 1900 and 1920s houses. There's a Queen Anne across the street that's unfortunately painted a what do you call that color? It's like bright light green.
Are these shutters existing, George? Are those?
Yes.
Is that? Oh, that's on the house. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And like Wendy said, was there any idea of just putting them here and here, just since you have them everywhere else? And then it looks like it just closes this piece right here, kind of like.
Yeah, I would never say that, but my eye went to the same place.
We could do that. I know that because I mean,
There's so many violations going on here anyway.
One thing
Go
nice,
ahead and put the shutters on the side.
one thing nice about Zoom is you can look at people, like stare at people and they don't know it. I can tell by Phil's eyes that he's finally gonna like shutters on something.
Yes. Phil, you walk the dog past this
You know,
house every day.
when they put those shutters on there and they're painted yellow, the trim is yellow and it's
Yeah.
a gray background, it just, I thought, wow, that's, if you're gonna have shutters on a house that doesn't need them.
This would be,
Go all the way.
All the way.
go,
Yeah.
just
Jump in
own
with
it.
both feet.
You gotta own it. Yeah.
We could definitely study shutters on those. And then,
Yeah.
and then that would, you're right, that provides a,
It kind of frames it up on the
Consistent and
second floor,
consistent.
and then I'm actually okay with this because it's a tough house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are we looking for,
Yeah, I
we're
agree.
looking for preliminary approval because I made you come back last time, right? Yeah.
We
yeah,
definitely
well, we
have-
wanted to get this back right away. And then we were working on those final details to submit end of this week, right?
Okay.
So are we actually suggesting outside shutters on the second floor?
Yeah,
Okay.
So
So motion for preliminary approval with study of the shutters at the second floor at the outside ends of the windows. And I think that was it, right?
right. I'll second it.
Yeah, and this still has to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals, so,
Pardon, Harry? Oh, yeah, we still have to go through that, right?
BZA.
Right, this house was built across 2 lots.
Oh, gosh.
So there's a lot consolidation and other, zoning issues that we're gonna get through before the final.
Right. So motion by Naylor, second by Childs. King,
yes.
Naylor,
Yes.
Childs.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for your open-mindedness to this.
The diplomatic award goes to,
I'm slamming the door shut on the
Oh.
sign proposal.
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Hey, if
George
you're gonna
already
be,
paid me to approve, so we're done here.
All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thanks so.
No, it's not.
if
208
if you're gonna beat up something,
This
I'd
Clemens
rather you
guy,
beat
he
me up
wants
than
a
my
new
clients.
sign.
That's great.
Okay, come on. Yeah.
What's the name of the girl on CSI with the funny hair?
Oh,
What?
Yeah, with the pigtails that come out the side. And, anyways,
I can't think of her name.
she's
Okay.
working. She's
Yeah,
working.
I know what you're talking about.
208 Bell Street.
So this is where I'm at right now, so that house and the sign you just were looking at is this sign which we're proposing projecting off of the side of the building. It sticks out about 18 inches. If I read that right, 1'5" or 1'6", somewhere right in there. And then it's a 3'4", I think, wide. And it would be kind of it will be made out of wood. We're proposing either painted or potentially burned in lettering, but it would be a whitewashed wood. So it's going to still have a white reading as a sign, but I just wanted us to be able to see the materiality of it. The 208 is our address. And then that is a mark that goes, and then that's one sign. The reason we don't want to project something off the front, because I don't think we can meet sign code, because those little bays in the front of our building are, like the top of the bays are lower than 8 feet. So we don't want to get out over the sidewalk with anything. And I think that's visible driving up the hill. And then we're also proposing in the window, just in vinyl lettering, that second sign, which is be a light blue, and that's just the George Clemens architecture with that little logo, which is, I think, down below. It's very largely, there we go. There. So that should be pretty innocuous.
Did you look at doing a blade sign right at the gable end?
Up high,
Yeah.
I think it would have to be so big though. I wanted something, you're driving down from down below. I wanted something you could really see,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, and this is such a tricky spot because
Mm-hmm.
your attention is captured by like the curve, the blind corner, try not to crash. So
Where was the old sign located?
it was a blade sign out off of
Oh, okay.
projecting forward off the bay, but it was, as far as I could tell, illegal. It was very small. It's not where that sign is now. It was almost at the door.
This is on my main walking. I go by this all the time, drive by it all, and your solution is right on the money. You get to read that sign for a block or a half a block if you're looking for George, and then the front is identified discreetly. I think it's a perfect solution.
I agree.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
Okay.
Motion by Child, seconded by Naylor. King,
Yes.
Naylor,
Yes.
Child.
Yes.
Okay,
Thanks.
that completes the regular agenda. There is a walk-in. Maybe.
Yep. Who was that, Harry?
You have to ask me that.
I have Ronnie Kurtz, walk-in Chagrin Falls Public Library. If there is someone in the audience who is the walk-in for today, please use the raise your hand in the Zoom platform. I see Matt Ross is our walk-in. I will promote. Thank you, Matt. You're welcome to unmute and start your camera.
Good morning.
Good morning, Matt.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
So I'm going to hit share screen.
I gotta stop sharing.
Hopefully you'll do better than I did. Good job.
George, I like your sign and congratulations on your new spot.
Oh, thank you.
I really do like that. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm in my software. So I'll try to keep this quick. This photo right here is we're proposing to replace this facade. Back in 2013, we tried replacing the rotted wood using a high-end paint in that area. That area collects a lot of moisture and there's not a lot of sunlight in the summer and it just keeps coming back and it's a maintenance nightmare. So we're proposing replacing it in kind with the AZEK Paint Pro with the smooth side, so we can match the existing paint. And you can kind of see, really it's a maintenance nightmare. So the first choice is to use that. So I'm going to show a 3D model, and I've constructed this model with actual AZEK, what they call families for Revit. It's similar to AutoCAD blocks. So it really is the material. And I've worked with the AZEK rep on replicating this. I'm going to hide the topography so you can really see.
Is this material rotting away?
Yes, it's been rotting away and they keep replacing it. And they, replaced it a while back. Now they've just gotten to the point where they've kind of want something that's relatively maintenance free.
The maintenance on this new material would be basically power washing.
Yeah, and
Caulking.
Pardon?
Caulking.
Caulking.
Washing.
What's the material again?
The AZEK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Paint Pro. So this way the paint will match, and they're going to paint the rest of all the woodwork on the exterior as well. So,
What is, what is the address of this building or? What
It's
is,
East Orange Street.
I'm sorry, what?
It's East Orange. I'll tell you in a minute, Joan. I'll get that.
No,
I'll get that.
I'm like, what building is this?
The library, 100 East
All right,
Orange.
I thought you said library, but then I was like, okay, I can't, all right, thank you.
so what you're seeing is really pretty close because it's the exact material we'd be using. And the profiles as well. And then the end game is to paint everything because there's a lot of areas where the paint's just, the wood's fine and they can maintain it. But this, they've, over the years, it's a maintenance nightmare for them.
This seems like a really good solution to me. I mean, I don't know how else you solve this problem. It looks
Yeah.
like you're doing a faithful job of recreating the details. I'm a little disappointed that you don't have some books shown in the book stacks inside and maybe some titles we could read, but it's a pretty impressive model.
I know I go a little overboard sometimes. No, it's funny you say that because I actually, there's an ability to put books in, but I'm like, okay, then they'll think
Enough.
money.
Next time, books.
Are you replacing all the wood, including the areas that aren't so hard to maintain?
We're only proposing for this facade right here, that area that I've just highlighted. The other areas, I think in the long term, they'd like to replace all of it, but just budgetary to spread all that money amongst the other branches. This is the most needy, but they will be painting again, all the wood, the exterior woodwork. So it's all going to match. And the Paint Pro is a good product in terms of matching when you paint it. And again, we're using the smooth side, not the wood grain side.
Right.
Because, I mean, doing a great job of replicating as best you can or some conversation like that is one thing. But then when you're comparing it to existing, it really needs to match.
You know, thank you. The one thing what I want to do is we have a contractor on board. We're going to do a mock-up just to make sure we get the right depths.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, because you can kind of see some of these
Yeah,
photos
the
right here.
profiles and all, yeah.
Yeah, we really want to make sure that we're true to it. So there'll be a rigorous review process. And they hired me on as well to do construction administration. So I can watch over that as well.
Yeah.
Great.
Hey, Matt, I might want to mention to the library folks that my boss, the administrator, came to me yesterday. He received a complaint, property maintenance complaint on this property. So,
Oh, really?
yes. And I told him that you were coming in as a walk-in today. So
Good,
you
I'll
may
relay
wanna
that to the
just,
library.
let the library people know that they could be in violation of property
Okay.
maintenance code.
Yeah, and actually this project's been in the works for a while. We just had to wait to the first of the year and for the levy to pass.
Okay.
For them to kind of move forward with this. So this is something that's going to be done as soon as possible.
No, I think it's a good solution. Thanks.
How's the main entrance to the library?
The main
facade?
entrance,
Yeah, is that okay? I mean,
yeah, the main entrance is pretty good. This is the most offensive right here.
Okay.
But they're going to be painting all of that.
Okay.
So, it's prepping, painting, and then, using a good mold resistance exterior acrylic enamel.
It's a great solution to preserving that historic.
Great, I'm glad
facade.
you agree because it was we're using a synthetic.
For the record, it's not historic.
That faux historic facade.
The faux historic facade, yeah.
Been there 50 years, hasn't it?
What?
I mean, it's
Been there as long as I've been in Chagrin.
Yeah, they've
and
had
that's
many
pretty-
iterations. I mean, they started.
80s or early 90s is when they did that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
You would be the best person to realize whether if they're painting and prepping and defungusing the front door, the main door, are they, is it good money after bad? Should they be doing the whole thing now?
They'd like to. But the issue is, and I've spoken to them about that, is that with all the other branches that they have, and they have to spread the money out, that they have evenly. It's something I'll propose that to them and let them know. I mean, we've talked about it.
The front door seems to get more sunlight.
Yeah.
Yes.
I walk by here all the time. I notice that elevation and it is bad.
Yeah,
Something
it's in the summer. Yeah, it's facing.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's subterranean, kind of.
Yeah.
I watched them put it up and thought, oh, baby,
Oh, you saw it coming?
this is a bad idea. So,
Very good.
All right, good.
Hey, are we
So
done?
I'll follow up
Yep.
with
We are
form.
done.
Yay.
Alzheimer.
Well, thanks.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Looks
Great.
good.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
All
That
righty,
completes it.
that completes it. Not a bad meeting. May they all be like this.
Yep.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great
Bye
great
all.
week.
Thanks.
Have a great day, everybody.